It is a pleasure to be joined by Seth Young, the Chief Strategy Officer of Fifth Street Gaming Digital. Hi, Seth, and thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Hi, Maria. I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for being here. So today we're going to talk about JefeBet. And for any viewers not familiar with the brand, JefeBet supports the iGaming and interactive sports wagering industry by providing media content for the Latino community within the United States. And JefeBet launched just over a year ago. So would you mind telling us a bit more about the idea behind it? What do you offer exactly? And how do you reflect on that first year of operation?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question, and thank you again for having me. JefeBet is a really interesting business. So the concept really was born more than 15 years ago out of Fifth Street Gaming. Seth Shore, who is the CEO of Fifth Street Gaming, and his partner Jeffrey Fine, who are the proprietors of that business, own and operate a number of casinos in Las Vegas, and two of them in particular are in the heart of the Latino community within Vegas, being what was formerly known as the Lucky Club and the Silver Nugget. The Lucky Club recently rebranded to Ojos Locos Sports Cantina y Casino at Hotel Jefe. It's the nation's first Latino casino. And whereas the Silver Nugget has the JefeBet Event Center, which we've recently branded. It's kind of a cultural center within Las Vegas for events and music, food truck rallies, things like that. Cultural stuff for the Latino community. So those businesses have been serving predominantly Mexican clientele for the last 15 years. And when Seth Shore and I started talking about this concept, and the more research I did about it, the more interesting it became. 64 million people in the United States identify as Latino, 12 million of whom speak Spanish as their first language. And outside of the United States, I mean, obviously a very large Spanish-speaking population. So we decided to embark on a journey of creating an audience of gambling-interested Spanish-speaking consumers. A lot of things are commoditized in the gambling market, but an audience is not a commodity. So last year, we launched the site with really March 1st was kind of when we went public, with the intention of building and engaging and retaining an audience that could continue to grow. And it's vastly exceeded our expectations so far from an engagement perspective. We've blown all of our internal expectations out of the water in terms of product market fit and audience metrics, and it's phenomenal. So that's led us to accelerate a number of strategic initiatives, which I'm sure you're going to ask me about. But high level, we're super pleased with the team that we've put together. We're learning so much every single day about the audience in and outside of the United States. And building that audience has given us the flexibility to do some very interesting things moving forward throughout 23 and 24.
Fantastic. And you said JefeBet is quite an interesting brand, and I totally agree. That's why I actually reached out to you guys for that interview, because I don't think I've seen another brand like yours, which I actually found quite interesting as well. Have you seen any other similar competitors emerge after you launched JefeBet, or not yet?
Not really in the United States. In some things
Okay.
here and there. There's nobody quite like us. We are a
I
gambling
think so as well, from what I've seen in my research.
We definitely stand alone. It is unique, what
Yeah.
we are perpetuating, being a Spanish language gambling focused brand. All of the content that we put out, and it's over 1,000 proprietary written articles monthly, are both in Spanish and English. And there are definitely affiliate sites globally that are focused in Spanish, whether it's for
Yeah, of
LATAM,
course.
partially for the US, but there's nobody that's really, started to play like we have. Where we started and where we're going are two different things. As we continue to invest in the media side of the business and support that, we are shortly expanding into different kinds of operations in different kinds of places.
Right. So how much have sports betting operators missed out by not marketing and creating specific content for the Latino community in the US? And do you think they're starting to realize that they need to do more of that?
I mean, I obviously contend that it's a big miss not to engage an audience that is so large. I mean, we think of the Latino audience in the United States as being a subset of the American populace, a niche market. 64 million people isn't really niche. That is mainstream, right?
It's
You know,
huge.
It's huge. We've said it before, Seth Shore, myself, that translating an app into Spanish is table stakes. Actually engaging and putting out the right kinds of content for the audience is quite another thing. And it's not a primary focus for any operator in the United States, which is why we've been able to grow so rapidly, I think. And one of the reasons anyway, because it is our primary and sole focus is the Spanish language audience. There are major differences in how a Latino may consume content vis-a-vis a non-Latino gambling interested or sports betting consumer. The types of sports, how they bet, why they bet, what they're interested in, how they may how we may perpetuate promotions. And there is no single operator that I've seen today that is actually doing really any meaningful work for this audience. So we aim to.
That's very interesting, actually. What sports are the most popular among JefeBet's audience, would you say?
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different by location. So we have a fair amount of traffic in the US, obviously, and we have a fair amount of traffic outside of the US. And in the US, it's all the major sports that you might expect, but soccer always wins the day. Football, right? Not American.
Makes sense.
Football. We're seeing a tremendous amount of engagement with tennis, with highlight, which we're leaning into. Definitely a sport where a fair amount of the athletes do identify as Latino or Hispanic, and the audience obviously resonates with that. In places like Chile and Peru, where we focus a tremendous amount of content development efforts for reasons that will become apparent imminently, we are seeing a tremendous amount of engagement with things like tennis or surfing or golf. Parts of Mexico really lean into auto racing, others like alternative sports. But it really is led by soccer, American, football, soccer, American football, basketball, baseball, boxing, MMA. Yeah, just depends on the client.
Right. And how do you engage with your audience? Do they respond more to written content, audio, video, everything?
Yes, I mean the consumer I think has the same interests and proclivities as any other consumer. It's just a matter of how the content is developed. We put a huge focus on authentic content development, and a lot of people throw around the word authenticity. What it means to us is a primary focus on the audience and content that is developed by the audience for the audience. So we engage today in all formats, but predominantly in through written content. So we have a full-time editorial team that's based across Latin America, produces tremendous amount of content for gambling lifestyle, sports picks and predictions, sports betting general information, and general casino and gambling coverage. And that's anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 articles on a monthly basis. We've been growing so fast. Our traffic is about 90% organic. It's not paid for, which means that our content is definitely resonating with the audience. We have a really fast growing social profile. We reached to date about 60 million people across our social channels through putting out great content, AV content. Focused on sport. We have a free-to-play prediction game where prospective consumers or gambling interested consumers can predict the outcomes of games for free and win cash. And we really focus on soccer and highlight, and then a marquee global event, whether it's the NBA finals or a marquee Champions League game or Bundesliga game. We also have a newsletter that's nearing 50,000 subscribers that we're doing some work on. We've been fortunate to engage a fair amount of consumers that are interested in hearing what we have to say every day. So those are predominantly the areas in which we engage our consumer. And shortly, I guess I've buried the lead a little bit, but we are looking to launch a real money gaming profile in Latin America imminently. And we will be engaging with a real money value proposition in the very near term.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. I only have a couple more questions. 3 of the biggest states with Latino population, California, Texas, Florida, they don't actually have sports betting as we speak. And there's been loads of talks in the industry over the past couple of years. And I think most executives tend to say that it's a matter of time before we have sports betting there. What is your personal opinion? And obviously, would sports betting in those states change everything for JefeBet as well?
Yeah, I think I agree. It's a matter of time. I think the structures may end up being wildly different in all three of the states that you referenced because of the state politics in each. And uh, it's not lost on us that California, Texas, Florida are three states where Latinos over-index as a percentage of the populace. It's nearly 50% in California. So for us, that's a really solid read-through for future opportunities. We've been engaging an audience in the United States for just over a year now, and as it our traffic distribution sort of mirrors the distribution of the Latino audience in the United States. So California, Texas, and Florida are very large markets for us, and makes for a great affiliate opportunity, makes for a great media opportunity from an advertising perspective, and to the extent that we have real money enabled products in the United States, makes for a fantastic opportunity for a Spanish language value proposition that will likely stand alone.
Right. And finally, what does the future hold for JefeBet, for Fifth Street Gaming? You mentioned some things already. Anything else that you can reveal?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we're working on now, and we're working pretty much around the clock with great partners who are yet to be revealed. But we are planning a launch in select Latin American jurisdictions for online sportsbook and casino, and we are considering our options for a real money enabled product in the United States that may make sense for our business and the life cycle of the market. So we're super excited about that. Sort of been full on executing against that. I'd say we're probably anywhere between 1 to 2.5, 3 months away from that being real and live. But it's been in progress for a number of months now. So very, very exciting as we continue to add to the team, continue to bring on great strategic shareholders to our business. We think we've got a bright future with this product and brand.
I agree. You certainly do have a bright future, and that sounds so exciting. So I'm looking forward to finding out more about this, and I'll catch up with you in a few months and see what you guys have been up to. Thank you so much for your time, Seth.
Thank you,
Lovely
Maria.
to talk to you. Thank
It's a
you.
privilege. Thank you.